I learned quite early on by way of a lot of the entrepreneurs and brands that I was inspired by, that the ones that were successful weren't just selling a product, but they were building brands by creating movements, leveraging culture. As an entrepreneur, you're a storyteller, right? And you've got to convince investors, partners, you've got to convince the consumer that you are the next bigger thing. And you have to convince people to believe in it. I honestly believe that from the outset. Did I think that it would get traction as quick as it did? It was really off the bat. I was shocked and I was surprised.
Andrew Salter, a Forbes 30 Under 30 entrepreneur and one of the creative minds behind DIRTEA, the functional mushroom brand making waves in the wellness space.
It was the summer of 2020 when DIRTEA was in development, but to use your phrase, screw it. I want to go 100% into DIRTEA. This is our mission. This is what I care about. And we did it. And I'm so happy we made that decision.
I'd love to know, where were you both mentally and emotionally when you and your brother decided to launch DIRTEA? What was the screw it, just do it moment?
Yeah, I guess it was a really interesting time. It was 2020, so in the heart of the pandemic. At that point, we had a venture studio, and we were working across 8 different brands that we had incubated and taken into market. And a higher percentage of those brands got immensely disrupted by obviously all the conditions that were going on. And I kind of started to realize that a lot of stuff was out of my control. We were fundamental to the growth of these portfolio brands. We had minority stakes in them, but we didn't own any of these businesses. We didn't control the decisions at the end of the day. They weren't our babies. They were just exciting ventures to be involved in. I think the pandemic was a shock for a lot of people. It was hugely disruptive. And some people use that as their advantage and as an opportunity. And we did that. And I think it was the summer of 2020 when DIRTEA was in development. But to use your phrase, screw it. I was like, I want to go 100% into DIRTEA. This is our mission. This is what I care about. This is our purpose. This is our life's work. And we did it. And I'm so happy we made that decision.
I bet you are. And as you say, this now is your baby. And you came from the creative services. What was initially maybe like the biggest fear into jumping into a consumer product?
Biggest fear. It's interesting you say fear, because I have so much confidence when it comes to consumer brands, just because I feel that is my passion, but also my expertise. I really understand the consumer, and I can always see where consumer market is going, which is probably why DIRTEA's been, a leader in the UK market, why we've been so innovative, why the brand and the marketing is often rewarded or recognized. So in terms of fear, I think, I try not to have too much fear in regards to these types of things. But I'd say that being an entrepreneur is quite fearful, because you're putting your entire reputation on the line. You're putting money on the line. You're putting time on the line. I don't know what the statistics are. You probably know better than me, Alex, but I think most startups do fail. And they are extremely risky, no matter your experience. We're obviously right the other side of that now. So fear of failure is obviously something that's always going to exist, but I have an insane amount of belief in the decisions we make and the strategy and vision we follow.
I prefer that, the belief and the confidence versus the fear side of things. I don't think we should have too much fear in our lives. But did you ever think that this is too niche, we're too early, or were you rewarded relatively early on with confidence from the market, from the consumer?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I've always seen working with niche categories, products as our strength. My brother and I are kind of known for our ability to take something niche and make it mainstream. Typically, that's through culture, brand building, and marketing. I could see where the market was going. The pandemic was an accelerator of something that was already in existence, and that was people were more connected and in touch with their health. I think when I was growing up, the way that I was raised is you only give attention to your health when there is a chronic symptom. And the point of reference is always that GP, that doctor. and they have a little book that they go into, and they prescribe you with some kind of medication. Usually it's antibiotics. And I've always looked at things in a very different way. I've always wanted to be in front of health, sort of like truly taking control. Yeah, so I saw niche as an advantage because I saw where the market was going, and I felt like we were a first mover. I guess there was like proof of concept because there were brands already in existence. One particular brand, back then had probably been going for almost 10 years, and they were doing serious money, and they proved they'd proven the market. What they had got wrong, as well as some other competitors in the marketplace, they weren't product obsessed. As you probably know, I love marketing. I love brand building. It's what I know best, but that means nothing unless you have a great product. A lot of our competitors have proven, particularly in the US, that and a lot of wellness brands, that there is massive appetite for things like this now. And what I call that as an acquisition market. People will buy your products, but will they come back is another thing. And we've always been about building that ritual. So I think in answer to your question is like niche was an advantage for us because it allowed us to move quickly on something that was proven that there was a market there. And we've got we had the foresight of where the market was going, and also we have the expertise of knowing how to take something niche and make it mainstream, and we've done that like 8 times over. That is where we shine.
If this conversation resonated with you, don't just sit there, act on it. Make sure you follow or subscribe for more game-changing conversations, and remember, the only thing standing between you and your business breakthrough is the decision to screw it and just do it.